Welcome back, I'm Sonia. Meanwhile, the tension at Indara's palace was equally palpable. Maharaja Vikram had secluded himself in his study, his mind a maelstrom of conflicting emotions. He paced the room, his thoughts heavy with the implications of his daughter's decision. The union between Raj and Indara was more than just a marriage, it was a symbol of unity between their families, a bond that had been nurtured for years. To see it unravel threatened not just the alliance but his very sense of control over the future. Maharani Layla, though more compassionate, was no less troubled by the unfolding events. She summoned Indara to her private chambers, her heart heavy with concern for her daughter's well-being. "Indara," Layla began, her tone gentle yet laced with a firmness that reflected the gravity of the situation. "Do you truly grasp the enormity of what you're asking of us? To turn away from a marriage that has been arranged for so long, to choose a man who does not come from royal lineage, this is not a decision to be taken lightly. The path you are choosing is fraught with challenges." Indara met her mother's gaze, her expression resolute yet tinged with the weight of her choice. "I do understand, Mother. I've thought about it endlessly. But I cannot, in good conscience, marry Raj when my heart belongs to someone else. To do so would be a betrayal not just of Raj, but of myself and the love I hold dear." Layla sighed deeply, her brow furrowing with the worries that had kept her awake at night. "And what of this man you love, Indara? He is not of our world. How will he provide for you? How will he protect you from the storm that will undoubtedly follow? Love alone cannot shield you from the realities of our society, from the expectations that have been placed upon you since birth." Indara's eyes softened, her voice steady yet filled with an undercurrent of fear for the future. "I know the challenges that lie ahead, Mother. I know that choosing love over duty may cost me everything I've known. But isn't that what love is, something worth risking everything for? I would rather face the unknown with a man I love than live a life of certainty with someone I don't. I cannot ignore what my heart tells me, even if it means walking a path fraught with uncertainty." Layla reached out, placing a hand on her daughter's cheek, her own heart torn between the desire to protect Indara and the understanding of her need to follow her heart. "My dear, love is a powerful force, but it is also unpredictable. It can bring great joy, but it can also bring great pain. Are you prepared for the sacrifices you may have to make?" Indara placed her hand over her mother's, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "I am, Mother. I've never been more certain of anything in my life. I know the road ahead will be difficult, but I also know that I cannot live a life built on a lie. I need to follow my heart, wherever it may lead." Layla nodded slowly, her heart heavy with the knowledge that her daughter's decision could change the course of their lives forever. "Then we will face this together, Indara. Whatever happens, you will not face it alone." As the two women embraced, the weight of their decision hung in the air, a bittersweet mix of love and fear, hope and uncertainty. The days ahead would be challenging, but for the first time, both Raj and Indara felt a sense of liberation in the choices they were making, choices that honored the truth of their hearts, even in the face of an uncertain future. Indara fixed her gaze upon her mother's eyes, her voice resonating with unwavering resolve. "He may not possess vast wealth or wield great power, but he cherishes me for my true essence, not for the title I bear. I stand prepared to confront whatever tribulations may arise, so long as we face them together." Layla shook her head gently, a solitary tear tracing a glistening path down her cheek. "You are so reminiscent of your father, unyielding and resolute. Yet you are also the flesh of my flesh, and the prospect of witnessing your suffering is more than my heart can bear." With tender determination, Indara reached out, enveloping her mother's hands in her own. "Mother, I implore you not merely for my sake, but for the future I aspire to construct. I beseech you for your unwavering support. I am acutely aware that the path ahead is fraught with challenges, yet I hold steadfast to the belief that love is a treasure worth every hardship. As the days unfurled, the atmosphere grew increasingly taut with unresolved tension. Both families came to the sobering realization that a resolution must be reached with all haste, lest the situation spiral beyond their control. At last, yielding to Raj's insistent plea, a formal dinner was orchestrated within the hallowed halls of the royal palace, a momentous gathering of both lineages to deliberate upon the shape of things to come. The evening of the dinner arrived, and the atmosphere was thick with anticipation. The dining hall, typically a place of celebration and opulence, now felt like the setting for a battlefield. The long table was set with the finest china and crystal, but the mood was anything but festive. Raj and Andrea arrived together, their faces composed, yet their hearts pounded with anxiety. They were greeted by their parents, who wore expressions of restrained tension. The servants moved silently, serving dishes of exquisite food that no one had the appetite for. After the initial pleasantries were exchanged, King Devendra spoke, his voice commanding the room. We are here to discuss a matter of great importance, one that affects not just our families, but the future of our kingdom. Raj, Andrea, you have made your feelings clear, but the consequences of your decisions must be fully understood. Raj nodded, his gaze unwavering. Father, Mother, Maharaja Vikram, Maharani Layla, we are fully aware of the gravity of what we are asking. But we also believe that this decision, though difficult, is necessary for our happiness and the future we wish to create. Maharaja Vikram leaned forward, his expression stern. And what future is that, Raj? A future where traditions are cast aside for the sake of fleeting emotions? Where the bonds between our families, forged over generations, are severed? Andrea spoke up, her voice resolute. Father, this is not about severing bonds. It's about forging new ones, grounded in honesty and love. Raj and I deeply respect our heritage, but we also believe that our happiness should not be sacrificed merely for the sake of tradition. Queen Anisha, her eyes brimming with unshed tears, looked intently at Raj. And what of the kingdom, Raj? Your marriage to Andrea is not just a personal union, it stands as a symbol of stability for our people. How do you intend to explain this to them? Raj took a measured breath. I understand that this will be difficult for our people to accept. But I believe that if we are transparent with them, if we explain that this decision was made out of a genuine pursuit of happiness, they will come to understand. They trust us to lead them with integrity, and that is exactly what we intend to do. Maharani Layla, her voice trembling, asked, And what of the people you love? Will they be willing to step into this world, to face the scrutiny and the challenges that come with being part of our families? Andrea nodded, her eyes shining with determination. The man I love is prepared to stand by me, no matter what. He understands the challenges, and he is ready to face them alongside me. King Devendra's countenance was a study in austere determination, his features etched with the gravity of the situation. You wax eloquent about love and happiness, but these are not the sole pillars upon which a kingdom rests. Duty, honor, responsibility, these are the inviolable foundations that have upheld our realm for generations. By sundering this engagement, you risk casting a pall of dishonor over us all. Raj's voice remained steady, a counterpoint to the tumultuous beating of his heart. Father, I have always held our duty and our honor in the highest regard. However, I fervently believe that true honor emanates from living an authentic life, from remaining steadfast to one's innermost convictions. I cannot, in good conscience, pledge myself to Indara when my heart irrevocably belongs to another. A profound silence descended upon the room, as oppressive as a physical weight. The gravity of Raj's declaration hung suspended in the air, a challenge to the very bedrock of traditions that had guided their lives since time immemorial. The assembled parents exchanged meaningful glances, each wrestling with a maelstrom of emotions ranging from simmering anger and gnawing fear to deep-seated sorrow. Yet, buried beneath these tumultuous feelings, there flickered a nascent understanding of the undeniable truth resonating in their children's impassioned words. At last, it was Maharaja Vikram who shattered the oppressive silence, his voice resonating with the weight of centuries. You beseech us to cast aside traditions that have endured for countless generations, to sever an engagement forged before you drew your first breath. This is not a decision we can render with haste or frivolity. Queen Anisha inclined her head in solemn agreement, her voice thick with a tempest of emotions. We require time to contemplate this momentous proposition, to meticulously weigh the far-reaching consequences. But heed this, Raj and Indara, should we accede to your entreaty, the onus of what follows shall rest squarely upon your shoulders. Raj and Indara exchanged a glance fraught with understanding before nodding in unison, their countenances reflecting a profound awareness of the implications that lay before them. We comprehend the gravity of our request, Raj articulated softly, his voice imbued with reverence and determination. We merely implore you for your unwavering support and your heartfelt blessing as we embark upon this uncharted path. The assembled families remained ensconced in a profound silence, each individual immersed in the labyrinth of their own contemplations. The dinner, which had commenced amidst a palpable aura of tension, concluded in a hushed, somber atmosphere, bereft of any definitive resolutions. As Raj and Indara took their leave of the palatial grounds that evening, the weight of their decision hung heavily upon their shoulders. They were acutely aware that the most arduous leg of their journey still lay before them, fraught with unforeseen challenges and potential adversities. Yet, beneath the apprehension that gnawed at their hearts, there flickered an indomitable spark of hope and determination. They had, after all, taken the first and most crucial step towards forging the lives they yearned to lead, a step that required immense courage and unwavering conviction. As they walked side by side into the velvety darkness of the night, their paths illuminated by the soft glow of distant stars, they drew strength from the knowledge that, regardless of the obstacles that lay ahead, they had remained true to their heart's deepest desires. The days that followed the dinner were marked by a tense, oppressive silence in both households. The parents had neither granted their blessing nor outright rejected Raj and Indara's requests. It was a stalemate, each side hesitating, waiting for the other to make the next move. But this silence only deepened the anxiety and uncertainty for Raj and Indara, leaving them caught in a web of unresolved emotions. At the royal palace, King Devendra grew increasingly restless. He spent long hours in his study, poring over ancient texts and legal documents, searching for a way to navigate this unprecedented situation without compromising the dignity of the throne. The weight of history and tradition bore down on him, leaving him sleepless and troubled. Queen Anisha, usually a paragon of grace and composure, found herself unable to focus on her duties. The thought of her only son defying centuries of tradition gnawed at her, creating an ache in her heart that she could not ignore. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the palace in warm hues of orange and pink, Queen Anisha decided to visit Raj in his apartment. She found him seated by the window, lost in thought, his face bathed in the soft glow of the fading daylight. "Raj," she called gently, stepping into the room. Raj turned to face her, his expression weary but resolute. "Mother," he greeted her, rising to his feet. She waved for him to remain seated and took a chair opposite him. For a moment, neither of them spoke, the silence between them heavy with unspoken words. Finally, Queen Anisha broke the silence. "You've always been a dutiful son, Raj. From the day you were born, I knew you were destined for greatness. But this path you're choosing, it terrifies me." Raj looked at his mother, seeing the deep worry etched in her face. "I understand your fears, Mother. But this isn't just about me. It's about the future I want to build, a future where love and duty can coexist, where I can lead with both my heart and my mind." Queen Anisha's eyes glistened with tears. "You speak of love as though it can conquer all, but love is fragile, Raj. It is easily broken by the harsh realities of the world. What if this woman, what if Andrea, cannot withstand the pressures of your life? What if your love for her fades under the weight of your responsibilities?" As Queen Anisha was leaving his room, Raj called out softly, "Mother, please believe in the love I have for my duties and for Andrea." 2 days later, both families gathered once more at the royal palace. The atmosphere was heavy with tension, each person acutely aware that the choices made tonight would irrevocably shape the future of both families. King Devendra and Queen Anisha arrived first, their expressions a blend of resolve and sorrow. Maharaja Vikram and Maharani Laila followed closely, their faces equally somber. Raj and Andrea stood side by side, their hands clasped tightly together, a silent testament to their unity. Once everyone had taken their seats, King Devendra spoke first, his voice imbued with the gravity of his authority. "We have considered your requests, Raj, Andrea. We understand the depth of your feelings, but we cannot simply disregard the responsibilities that come with your positions." Queen Anisha nodded, her voice soft yet unwavering. "You both know what is expected of you, not just as our children, but as the future leaders of this kingdom. Love is important, yes, but it cannot be the sole guiding force in your lives." Maharaja Vikram added, his tone stern and unyielding, "You speak of love and happiness, but what of the duty you owe to your people, to your heritage? The alliance between our families is not merely a marriage, it is a bond that fortifies our kingdom." Raj met their gazes, his voice calm yet resolute. "We understand the gravity of our responsibilities, but we believe that true leadership comes from being true to oneself. We are not asking to forsake our duties, we are asking to fulfill them in a way that upholds our integrity and honors the love that sustains us." Andrea continued, her voice steady but filled with emotion, "We want to create a future where love and duty can coexist, where our people can see that even those in power have the right to follow their hearts." The parents exchanged glances, their faces a complex mix of worry, uncertainty, and resignation. Queen Anisha was the first to break the silence, her voice trembling slightly as she spoke. "We will not make this decision lightly. But if you are truly determined to follow this path, you must understand that the consequences will be significant. The people may not accept this easily. The stability of our kingdom could be at risk." King Devendra nodded, his expression stern and unwavering. "And if we agree to break this engagement, you must bear the responsibility of handling the fallout. You will need to address the people, explain your decision, and ensure that this does not bring dishonor to our families." Raj and Andrea both nodded, fully aware of the gravity of the situation. "We are prepared to take on that responsibility," Raj said, his voice resolute. "We believe our people will understand if we approach them with honesty and respect." Maharani Laila sighed, her voice tinged with sorrow. "This is not the future we envisioned for you, Andrea. But if this is truly what you desire, we will stand by you." Maharaja Vikram nodded in agreement, though his expression remained stern and unyielding. "But know this, if this decision leads to instability, if it threatens the peace and prosperity of our kingdom, you will be held accountable." The room descended into a heavy silence, the weight of the decision pressing on everyone's shoulders. Raj and Indara understood that the most challenging part of their journey still lay ahead, convincing their people, navigating the inevitable political and social upheaval, and proving that their love was resilient enough to endure the immense pressures of their roles. Back at the hotel, Andrea sat on the edge of her bed, staring out the window at the bustling city below. The vibrant life of the streets felt distant, muted by the storm of emotions swirling inside her. Susie perched on the other bed, watching her friend with a mix of concern and curiosity. "Andrea, you've been quiet ever since we got back," Susie said gently, her voice laced with worry. "What's going on in that head of yours?" Andrea sighed deeply, running a hand through her hair as she tried to gather her thoughts. "I don't even know where to start, Susie. It's all so overwhelming. Raj, he told me everything last night, and now I'm just lost." Susie leaned forward, her eyes filled with empathy. "Tell me what happened, Andrea. Maybe talking it out will help clear your mind." Andrea nodded slowly, struggling to articulate the whirlwind of emotions she had experienced during dinner with Raj. He admitted that he's been engaged to someone else. It's an arranged marriage, something decided long before he even understood what love truly meant. Susie's eyes widened in shock. "Engaged? But he's been so devoted to you. Why didn't he tell you sooner?" Andrea shook her head, the pain in her voice unmistakable. "I don't know. Maybe he was trying to sort things out before telling me, or maybe he was just as lost as I am. He told me that everything changed for him the moment he saw me. That's when he realized he couldn't go through with the engagement because his heart wasn't in it." Susie frowned, her protective instincts flaring. "So, he's been leading you on, knowing his promise to someone else? That's not fair to you, Andrea. You deserve so much better." Andrea sighed, a mix of frustration and longing etched on her face. "I know it's unfair, but I can't control how I feel about him. From the moment I saw him, there was this connection, something I've never felt before. And now, knowing all of this, I'm torn between wanting to run from this whole mess and wanting to stay and fight for him." Susie moved closer, wrapping a comforting arm around Andrea's shoulders. "You're in a tough spot, I get that. But you have to think about what's best for you, not just how you feel about him. Raj comes with a lot of baggage, family expectations, cultural differences, and a fiancé. Are you really ready to take all that on?" Andrea buried her face in her hands, her voice muffled by the weight of her thoughts. "That's the thing, I don't know if I am. Part of me wants to walk away and forget I ever met him, but another part of me, it's like I can't imagine not having him in my life now. He said he's going to talk to his family, try to end the engagement. But what if he can't? What if I'm just setting myself up for heartbreak? Have you ever experienced love at first sight, or do you think it's just something we read about in stories? Tell me in the comments, do you believe in that instant connection, and would you be willing to face anything for love? I can't wait to hear your thoughts. To be continued. Thanks for watching. Until next time.